Ever felt trapped in your thoughts after trying to move forward from a loss? The key to your freedom might be in those looping thoughts. Intrigued? Let's unravel this mystery together. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Reinvention Lab, where ambitious women transform loss into legacy. Hosted by Master Certified Life Coach and fellow trailblazer Sandy Linda, this is your space to discover how life's biggest challenges can ignite profound transformation, where grief becomes growth, setbacks become stepping stones, and your unique story lights the way for others. If you're ready to turn life's challenges into opportunities for leadership, legacy, and forward momentum, you're in the right place. Let's dive in.
Hello, creative humans and fellow trailblazer. Happy July! And I want to wish all of you celebrating Independence Day here in America, I want to wish you a safe and joyful weekend with those spectacular fireworks. Speaking of independence, I have been thinking about how we can free ourselves from something that keeps so many of us trapped. It happened to me last week. I recall sleepless nights with the digital clock casting a persistent green glow. It was 3 a.m. and my mind looping around an issue. I was awake, the green light witnessing a simple conversation from earlier, imagining different outcomes. I am lying there replaying every word, imagining how I could have said things differently, worrying about how they interpreted my feedback, wondering if I came across as too direct or not supportive enough. Sound familiar? It's not as sweltering as the East Coast heat wave that we had, but it can get your mental sweat going. That's what I am taking apart today. The cycle of overthinking. Today, I am diving into something almost every leader I know struggles with. Overthinking about the future. Not productive planning, but that exhausting mental loop of worrying about uncertain events and trying to control uncontrollable outcomes. I'm going to share something that will shift how you think about your overthinking mind. First, I'll discuss why your brain loves to worry about unrealized events and how this fear is not your weakness, but a hidden strength. Yes, you heard me, strength. I'll take you back to when I was scared to share my true self with my team. I'll show you how that fear was sabotaging my leadership effectiveness. My overthinking almost got the better of me. But then I discovered something amazing. It was like being stuck in a dark maze and suddenly finding a flashlight. I'm going to share a method that changed everything for me. It transformed my midnight worry sessions into my strategic, life-changing chats. This episode is for you if you had those sleepless nights worrying about whether people will accept your leadership style, or if you catch yourself overthinking every decision because you're afraid of negative outcomes. We're going to turn that mental energy into your leadership superpower. Let's dive in. When I hid my grief journey from new team members, I thought I was protecting myself and maintaining professional boundaries. But my brain was running endless simulations of potential rejection scenarios. I would think, what if I share my story and they think I'm unprofessional? What if they walk away like my former friends? What if vulnerability equals weakness? Let me start by telling you something that might surprise you. Your tendency to overthink the future isn't a character flaw. It's evidence of sophisticated leadership thinking. Your brain is running scenario planning sessions. The problem isn't that you're thinking about the future. It's that you're stuck in the worry loop instead of moving into the solution space. Here's what I learned. Those questions weren't random anxieties. They were my leadership instincts trying to navigate complex human dynamics. The issue was that I was stopping at the worry instead of using those insights to develop strategies. Your overthinking mind is like an advanced warning system. But instead of preparing for the weather, you're just standing outside worrying about the storm clouds. I remember when a new team member asked how I was feeling, I broke down. I told her I felt like a fraud because I have this painful story, but I'm scared to share it because of past hurts. That breakdown became a breakthrough because it showed me that my overthinking had been protecting me from discovering who is ready for genuine leadership conversations and who preferred surface level professional interactions. This brings me to selective leadership partnerships. It changed my approach to team building and professional relationships. Instead of overthinking whether everyone would accept my genuine story, I learned to use my future focus thinking as a discovery process. Think of it like stepping stones across a river. You don't leap from one bank to another in a single crunch. Instead, you test each stone to see if it can support your weight before trusting it. That's how I learned to share my genuine leadership journey with new people. The beautiful thing about overthinking is it forces you to consider multiple outcomes, which is an excellent preparation for having intentional conversations. Instead of worrying, what if they reject me? I started asking, how can I share enough of my story to see if this person is ready for deeper leadership conversations? I noticed patterns in how people responded to small glimpses of authenticity. Some team members would ask follow-up questions that showed genuine interest in understanding my viewpoint. Others would quickly change the subject back to work task. Neither response was wrong, but they gave me valuable information on structuring my leadership relationship with each person. This approach transformed my overthinking from a source of anxiety into a strategic tool for building professional relationships. Instead of hiding my resilient story, I learned to share it selectively with people who showed they could handle genuine leadership conversations. This didn't mean everyone needed to know everything, but it meant I stopped exhausting myself by pretending to be someone I wasn't. Let me share a technique that transformed my 3 a.m. worry spirals into strategic advantage sessions. I call it the challenge technique based on one principle. Most future-focused overthinking is based on assumptions, not evidence. Here's how it works. When you catch yourself worrying about uncertain future events, immediately ask yourself 3 challenge questions. First, is there evidence to support this worry? Or am I assuming the worst case scenario? 2, are there alternative explanations for why this situation might unfold differently? And 3rd, am I worrying about something that may never occur? Let me walk you through my leadership journey. I was worried that sharing my grief story would make team members lose confidence in my leadership abilities. When I applied the challenge technique, I realized I had zero evidence of this. In fact, when I looked at respected leaders, many shared their transformation stories that increased my trust in their judgment. The alternative explanation question helped me realize people might appreciate genuine leadership more than perfect appearance. And the third question made me laugh because I was spending enormous amount of mental energy worrying about the reactions that might never happen from people who might not care about my story. Here's where the magic happens. Once you challenge those negative thought patterns, you create space for strategic thinking. So I'm going to say this again. Instead of what if they reject me, I started asking, how can I share my story in a way that serves authentic leadership style and my team needs? That's when overthinking transformed my problem into planning sessions. I developed my stepping stone approach to building genuine leadership relationships. It started with challenging my assumptions instead of accepting my worries as facts. Here are 3 steps to transform your overthinking into strategic advantage. These practices help me and others move from hiding their authentic leadership story to building meaningful partnerships with people who understand it. Step 1 is to create your challenge checkpoint. Next time you catch yourself in a future worry loop, pause and ask the 3 challenge questions we discussed. Write down your worry and the actual evidence you have for that concern. You'll be surprised how often your anxiety is based on assumptions rather than facts. This practice trains your brain to move from worry into self-analysis. Step 2 is to develop your stepping stone strategy for sharing your genuine leadership story. Identify one small, authentic detail about your leadership journey to share with a trusted team member or colleague. Notice their response. Do they ask thoughtful follow-up questions or redirect to surface level topics? This helps you determine who is ready for deeper leadership conversations without sharing everything with everyone. And step 3 is to transform your worry sessions into planning sessions. When you overthink uncertain future events, set a timer for 10 minutes and write down your concerns and potential strategies. This channels your natural tendency toward scenario planning into productive preparation rather than exhausting anxiety. As we wrap up today's episode, remember, your overthinking mind isn't broken. It's sophisticated leadership intelligence that needs to be channeled rather than silenced. Your ability to consider multiple future scenarios is the strategic thinking that great leaders cultivate. The difference between weak and strong overthinking is this. Weak overthinking stops at worry. Strong overthinking moves into preparation and strategy. When you learn to challenge your assumptions, test your story with the right people, and transform worry into planning sessions, you will discover that your mind's natural habit toward future-focused thinking becomes one of your greatest leadership asset. It's okay to share your transformation story with selective people who can handle credible leadership conversations. You don't need everyone to understand your journey, but to stop hiding from the people who are ready to walk alongside you in meaningful professional relationships. If today's episode resonated with you, I love to hear about your experience transforming overthinking mind into a strategic advantage. Until next time, keep building stepping stones toward genuine leadership relationships. Your journey of resilience is a valuable asset. Share it thoughtfully with people who will appreciate it. Thank you so much for listening and have a wonderful week, everyone. Bye.
Thanks for joining us on the Reinvention Lab. If today's episode inspired you, don't forget to follow and share it with someone who's ready to turn their challenges into opportunities. Want to take your journey to the next level? Visit sandylinda.com/program and apply for coaching today. Together, we'll turn your story into a legacy. Until next time, keep moving forward with purpose, passion, and power.